Hey, good morning, everybody. Sarasota Tim coming to you from inside the Crasher. And it is now, let's do a time check. Just did my eye drops there. We got 6:46. And I got to go to the eye doctor this morning. But first, oh my gosh. I just put those eye drops in. Those eye drops are going to be the death of me. I don't have regular cream. I only have the sweet stuff. So I said I was going to use cream and sugar. So we're going to go ahead and just use what we have. And that would be Irish cream. So how are you 177,612 beautiful souls doing? Oh my gosh, we had such a good time yesterday out talking to people, asking them who they hope to win the election. Some of you seem to be quite alarmed with the results. And here's to you. I got my other cup's dirty. I haven't woke up yet. This is my first cup. That creamer right there just cooled my coffee down a little bit. It's warm, not piping hot. Wow. But you know what? It's like candy. It's like candy. It's like sweet cream. Oh yeah. I'm already feeling it, baby. You know what? That's the best cup of coffee I ever had in my life. It is good. Now let's just top it off with what's in there. Lid up. Oh yeah, this is the perfect amount. One bottle of Walmart water. Look, this is what I can't take it. You ready? Let me show you. Look, this is what I do every morning. I got it out here so I can plug it in and all that. Then look, I'm trying to push the button and the whole thing moves around. When are you going to get your thing? Folks, hey look, I'm wearing my new Travis Matthew shirt that I bought in, I got this in Laughlin at Laughlin Ranch Golf Club. $100. And I used to say, you know, them Walmart Ben Hogans I buy are just as good. And they are handsome shirts for $20, whatever they are. But I put this on this morning. I got a black one too. And the guy that's at the pro shop where I played at Laughlin Ranch, the young guy, his wife drives around the food and drink cart down the golf course. He was wearing one of these, and he looks at them every day. He said, this one here he likes, and then that black one I got. And I noticed here at the, here, I'll give you the whole, a little better look. Hang on. They have there's a material about them. It really is $100. It's a quality shirt. It really is. I didn't even iron it, nothing. It comes out just like this when I wash it. But at the mall here at UTC Mall, they have a Travis Matthew store. Not to mention, what's it called? Not Macy's, but the other, Dillard's has a whole section in there of Travis Matthew. They got a Craymoo. They've got these other names that escape me right now that are big labels, you know, where you can pay a lot of money. You know, every now and then. But what I was going to show you. Let me pause this 1 second. Yeah, it's recording. I still got crap coming out of me. And when I have some coffee, you know. It is what it is. TMI. So I'm going to show you something. That ain't sweet at all there. What do you think it is? Where was I last night? And what does she always do? Sends me packing, sends me home with a little treat. And I always say, "No, I don't need it, no." And she says, and look at how sweet it is. Look what she did. Look at this, folks. Look at these little folds right here. Look at what she did in the wax paper. I love that woman. Look at this. Are you ready, folks? Oh my God. You know, it was just made yesterday. Here, hang on. Come on now. Get this camera where you can see I'm getting cheap on you. Here we go. A big, oh, it's so moist. Look at that thick little slice you got. Let me just take a little piece of the here, right here. Look at that, look here. There we go. Banana nut chocolate bread. I mean, let me tell you something. The banana just screams as soon as you get it in your mouth. I mean, you smell it. It's amazing. Who doesn't like banana nut bread, right? And with chocolate. And she tells me every time she makes these desserts, she never puts in the amount of sugar they call for. They don't need it. Now, you know what's going to make this good, right? Here's what's going to make it good. Oh, man. Wash that down. That's the best banana nut bread I've ever eaten in my life. And this coffee, washing it down, that's the best combo I've ever had in my life. Anyway, look. I told her, I said, yeah, Raphael, you don't get cheap on the nuts either, do you? Some people get cheap on you. They don't put that many nuts. She goes, yeah, I like walnuts. So she crunches them up or cuts them up, crushes them or stuff. But they're nice sizes. They're not, crumbs. You just couldn't get any better. I mean, that woman can cook. Those vegetables last night were amazing. Had potatoes, carrots, green beans. And then she had a little dish I showed you of some zucchini. And that tomato pie, that tomato pizza pie, it was in a pie dish with crust. The bottom of it, it was like a crust. It wasn't like a bread. It was, but it wasn't. It was very, very unique and super good with tomato. I mean, who doesn't like cooked, roasted tomatoes? I love tomato sandwiches. So, I mean, all the vegetables last night, and then, of course, those pork chops that were thin. She used that pango or whatever, Those were baked. And, well, don't quote me on that. They could have been fried. I don't know. But Fred and Raphael are two lovely, lovely people. Fred's 84 years old. We were talking about the push-ups last night. He said, I do 120 a day. I said, are you kidding me? And we were talking about how I've been telling you guys, I've been doing them on the incline, on the bench, which is really good. I don't really want to do them on the floor flat. Those are more difficult too, but you get a good workout on the incline and you're already kind of up. You can raise your knees and move your feet up and stand up. It's hard to get up and down now. So, he was talking about, I'm like, really? 120 on the floor? Get down there, soldier. Give me 50 right now. So he does. I don't say that to him. He said, yeah, let me show you. He goes, do it. He tells me to do it. I get down, and I can't do one hardly because I'm still sore. and then my palms are flat on the floor, which kind of hurts my wrist a little bit. And he said, let me show you. He gets up. Fred's a big guy. And he gets down there and he bangs out like 5 or 10. Now, he doesn't go all the way down. He'll tell you that. He's like a halfway, isometric, but 120, even, I don't care. If you move this much, 84-year-old man, been doing his whole life. Raphael said when he was a young man, when the kids were young, he used to tell him to get on his back while he did push-ups. So I'm going to work my way up to it. It's a great exercise. Hang on a minute. I got to blow my nose again. So I'm really not wanting to eat too much of this cake, but I had such a small bite. I mean, I just can't get over how she put it in wax paper for me, too. I will go ahead and indulge in another little piece, that's all. Just a little, look. Man, the banana is like, all my senses. Banana and nuts. And then there's that aftertaste of chocolate. Folks, it don't get any better than that. So anyway, we do some push-ups. And I'll have a little bit later today or with coffee this afternoon or something. I'll be thinking about it. I can't wrap it up as good as she did. There we go. Jay's texting me early this morning. He gets out of the bed early too. That's my buddy up in the Villages. I got to get up there. Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. How did this sneak up on me? We got a hurricane coming. And what's very disconcerting about this hurricane is it's a very dangerous hurricane that's coming. It's expected to grow in size and in strength and intensify rapidly. Rapid intensification, like in 24 hours, to go from a tropical storm to possibly a Category 2. When you're talking 115 mile an hour winds, it's going to go potentially into Tampa and north. But that isn't the problem. We've never had a hurricane in 100 years hit the Sarasota. They hit Fort Myers, they hit Tampa, Punta Gorda, we've had Charlie, we had Ian, we've had all these ones, Tropical Storm Debbie that just came. Did you hear that? Tropical storm. Did you see on the news of the flooding in Sarasota, of those $1 million homes? Did you see? I stayed in the camper and was afraid for my life. This thing was shaking around, because it's not a sticks and bricks, It was moving around. I thought, this is it. When you have a hurricane, it was a tropical storm that went by me. It turned into a hurricane when it got to Tallahassee or way up there, when it hit in the corner of the Apalachicola. But this is going to be a hurricane as it goes by. A hurricane, you got the which is devastating. You run for the hills. Don't try to do anything, just leave. But the outer bands can be as big as a third of the country. I mean, it is huge when you look at it from satellite. And those outer bands carry numerous dangerous high winds, thunderstorms, and tornadoes. That's the killer. That's what totaled my car one time when I was on a cruise and the cruise ship couldn't come back to Cape Canaveral Ian, or whatever one it was, came in down here in Fort Myers. I'm on the other coast and north in Port Canaveral, and we stayed at sea 3 more days because the outer bands, because it was a hurricane when it hit land, tornadoes destroyed the parking garage, the parking field where all these cars were, where mine was, and got totaled. I was able to drive it home, but it was totaled. I went right to Geico, totaled out. There wasn't a window left in it. There wasn't a bumper that wasn't banged up. I mean, it was unbelievable. Some people couldn't even drive their cars. Hang on a minute. Sorry about that. So Debbie was a tropical storm. And Debbie was out at sea a lot further, but the bands came in. I told you, I made videos, how horrifying it was in here. And everything was fine. Everything was fine. I mean, but Sarasota was flooded out. That was a tropical storm as it went by. It wasn't even a hurricane. This is going to be a hurricane before it passes our coast, and it's going to come closer. And that means that the outer band should be exponentially much worse, and it'd be a much bigger storm. And this rapid intensification that they're talking about, they generally like to exaggerate quite a bit and really, so you'll watch the Weather Channel. That's about the only time people like to watch that channel. It's when a hurricane is coming close to the U.S. But they're right a lot of times, and they're underestimating sometimes. It gets even worse. But 115 mile an hour winds off the coast at the eye, bringing in, I saw 30 to 45 mile an hour winds for Debbie. And they came like labor pains. They would come intermittently. And that was what was so horrifying about it, is because all of a sudden I'm sitting here. I couldn't sleep, of course. I tried to lay down. I couldn't even hold my eyes open hardly anymore. I had to stay up all night. And I would lay down and I would jump up, please God, please God. I'm serious. I would say that aloud. I was horrified. Why I stayed in this thing? So I said, never again. So you can bet your boots. This thing's supposed to be here Thursday. I will not be in here. Nope. Nope. So I'm trying to debate today. Leave it, move it, evacuate the important things that I need out of here, documents, whatever is important to me. Load up the truck. I've got these big plastic totes that I can throw things in. I'm insured, but who wants to go through that? Who wants to come back and find this thing upside down and worry about finding another 25 FKBS? Come on. Or even have damage. Who needs that? But it's coming. And it's coming quick. I didn't even see this. So I was watching the Weather Channel last night over at Fred and Rafaela's, and I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm going to be doing some preparations today. I do have the doctor appointment this morning, and that's going to go without a hitch. And I'm going to get that vision field test. You look into this thing and you click these clickers. Every time you see like a flash or what do they call that? Stars. When you see a shooting star, you see these little blinks, but you're supposed to look straight. It's checking your peripheral to see how wide and how much you've lost. Let me tell you, this left eye is about done. It's really, I can't believe in this months back when I was at Ted and Jolene's and I went and got the surgery and I got the patch and the eye was really red and the guy did the thing. Prior to doing it, I was like, all right, let's do it. When you've lost 50%, you don't think you've lost too much. But when you lose 80 to 90% that he told me, this guy here, I see it. I walk around with two eyes open and it looks like, like this side is shadowed. It's cloudy, not black. It's, I go like this. Everything's kind of sharp. I go like this. Garbage, I see, but it's messed up. It's messed up. But let's deal with the things at hand. I'll get the vision test this morning, get my butt back here, start securing things, packing everything up that I need, and be prepared. Oh my gosh, who needs this crap? You got mosquitoes, you got humidity, you got heat till January, you got cost of living, you got 23 million people. You're a mile from the sun. But I love it. Florida is, I don't know how these people live in these other states. I really don't. Landlocked, no ocean, freezing to death 6 months of the year. Even Atlanta, I lived up in Atlanta for 12 years. I was down here 3 times a month. I'd come down, you know, because I was raised here over in West Palm. And it don't have to snow to be cold. Cold is cold. I guess it's getting kind of cold now up there. I mean, you wouldn't know it here. I'm sweating down the back of my back right now from that coffee. Air conditioner runs 24 hours a day. It'll kick on here in a minute. But yesterday was fun making those videos, meeting people. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to do more of them. And I've got some different questions. Rather than asking them about who they'd like to see win, these straw polls are obvious. It's proven yesterday that it is a close race. The media is probably not exaggerating too much because, now, you may say, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And you're right. I would say Trump does have a vast majority of the confidence of, the voters. You want to hear something alarming? I mean, I couldn't believe it. What I'm about to tell you, you can check. You can fact check. Trump went on, it was on YouTube. Gutfeld, I guess is his name. He's a pundit on Fox News from the 5, and he's got his own show. And it was the highest rated show he's ever had in his life because Trump went on there. Then the next day is when Kamala went on Oprah Winfrey's show. So they had these two, battling to see who gets the most views and are trying to say stuff and all. Trump said, I could not believe it. I fell out of my shoes. Gun owners don't vote. Evangelicals don't vote. And who else was it? I said, what? That's like the base for the Republicans. And yes, they vote 13%. Are you kidding me? Only 13% of evangelicals vote? And I forgot what the number was. And maybe that's the number on the gun owners. And they're always up in arms about losing their guns and stuff. So I'm asking a few friends of mine, I'm like, why do you think? Why would that be true? Why is that? They show up in all these rallies and everything, and why aren't they? So some said, I don't know, people have guns and some of them have illegal guns, or they don't want to go to jury duty, or they don't want anybody to know where they live to come get their guns. And then evangelicals, what's their excuse? Why are they not voting? I mean, if this is true, you can correct me. This is what I heard. He says it on TV and nobody said anything about it. That this group of people, this many, vote. Now, I don't care what group or what race you're in. There's about 375 million people in this country. I don't know how many of them are registered to vote. That's counting men, women, and children. But the voters have got to be 300 million, and the rest are children, or 250 million, or whatever it is. Why isn't, and I understand there's going to be some that can't and won't and don't and care, and voters' apathy and all this stuff we've taught in school, what voters' apathy means. But why aren't people voting? Trump said when I was watching this YouTube video that if evangelicals vote, it'd been open and shut case. If gun owners voted, it'd be a no contest. I mean, if you got this one segment, he said, it'd be all over. And, they didn't really talk about that with Kamala over on Oprah Winfrey. They didn't go into who doesn't vote. I guess, I don't know what their segments are. But anyway, I was going to get back to, I don't give a rip who you vote for. I mean, I do, but I don't. Just vote. If you're legally eligible to. I would not want to say, even if you casted a vote opposite of what I vote. We met people yesterday that have voted 2 different ways in their lifetime. But I don't care if you cancel my vote out because you vote opposite. But I do care that if you sit around and complain all year, or for 4 years, and you didn't contribute to the values that either you care about, or the values for your children, or the other people that live in this country. We're not a world, we're just a country. So, my question is going to be on my next straw poll is not who you hope to win the presidency. I'm going to ask people, I think, what are the values that you hope to see, or what are the changes you hope to see that the next president can bring? What is the changes that you feel you want to see in this country? And I may have a little multiple choice selection for them if they can't think on their feet quick enough, such as the economy, the border, foreign affairs, the abortion rights, Supreme Court deal, or gun rights, or, I can think of a few more. I can't think right now. These big issues, or is it gasoline prices and the cost of food, rent? How about mortgages? Housing prices. Most of the people in the demographics in Sarasota, they own homes. They're wealthy, and they're not looking to do their first time buying. But then there are people. So not everybody's not a millionaire here, but there's no shortage of them, like Palm Beach. But we got our demographics too. Palm Beach, that's a whole different. Somebody was asking me, or made a comment. Oh, well, certainly. It's Trump country there, and I thought it was 50-50. But if you want to know where blue Democrat voters are, on the East Coast, Palm Beach County, then the next one, Fort Lauderdale, that's Broward County, and then the next one where Miami is, that's Dade County. Palm Beach, Broward, and Dade are huge counties in the state of Florida. We have quite a few counties. And they're some of the largest and the most populous. And they are staunch Democrat blue counties. They've always went blue. There's more people there, and more diverse, and more Democrat. So Florida is not a slam dunk red Republican state. It always seems to go that way, but it's very, very close. And we've had some Democrat governors too. Heck, this guy we got, DeSantis, he wouldn't have won. He was trailing behind the guy that was on crack, caught in a hotel with another young man. He was leading by far until Trump endorsed him, and then he won the governorship. Do you remember that? He was trailing behind this African American that was later found in a hotel with crack cocaine with a young man or another man. And I forget his name. And he was a Democrat, and he was winning. And then Trump came in and endorsed, and this is before all the extra controversy about Trump came along, and I guess people, did something. But back to the people that wouldn't talk on camera yesterday that did tell me, most of them didn't. Most of them just said, I'm not touching that one. I'm not touching. So they never even told me, but a few did. He said, I'll tell you, but I don't want to be on camera. And those were generally Trumps. But the ones that are like, I'm not going to. They could have been Trump. They could have been Harris. But we did see what I thought. When I did these interviews and held that mic out there, I heard Harris and Democrat as often as I did Trump, I thought. Trump might have had the edge, but it was not like Trump. Nope. So there you go. And that's a straw poll. So you just don't know. Don't count anybody in or out. But anyway, we're going to ask another question possibly today, after I do all my hurricane preparation, as to what are the changes, if any, or the values you would like to see continue or reinstalled. How about the Green Deal? So there's a few things that I can think of that I can ask people, or I may just continue with the who do you want to see, and then when they answer, then I can ask them, well, what value is it, this or that, or what values do you think that this person will bring? So it's just fun, meeting people and getting a sense of where we're at. I can tell you one thing, like I just said, don't count anybody in or out. So, and whoever it is, God is going to guide them. God's going to make sure this country continues to be the country. Are we suffering right now? Sure, some are. Rents are way too high. Food prices and gasoline's way too high. It's not too high here. It's high. It's high enough. I'd rather have 50 cents a gallon, but it's under $3. But rents are stupid. House prices everywhere are dumb. And so, yes, there are things like that. But are people affording it? Millions are. Millions. Because while their money is drawing down, or it's costing them more too, for a gallon of gas or a loaf of bread, they got a whole barn full of hundreds. So they're never going to spend what they got. They're still going to leave money to their children. So they don't really, versus somebody that doesn't have any money in a barn, and they don't have any money left in their savings account, and they're living on credit cards. Now these people, the disparity between the haves and the have-nots are a huge gap. There is no middle class in our country, really. You've either a broke dick, or you're doing pretty darn well, and your wealth has grown exponentially through the 401s and the stock market and your real estate values. So yes, and the gap continues to grow. Now this is something that I would like to see change, because back in the day when I was growing up, we were blue collar. We were not business owners and money people by any shakes. In fact, we moved when the rent came due. But people in those days, I love to tell this story, if they worked and took a second job, or worked a little overtime, or saved a little extra, they could buy into like a second house, or a little investment or piece of land, or do so. All they had to do was a little investment, and they could step up from middle class to upper middle class and then grow by steps. They could really, but what do you got today? You got all this up here and down here and nothing in the middle. And you would need a fire truck ladder and win the lottery to literally go from here up to here, because there's nowhere in here. There's no steps. And whatever there is in between, it's almost invisible. There's so few left. And their money is getting, these people in here, their money is getting drawn down every month. And if prices do continue like this, you'll either have, most likely, corporations and big investors and super wealthy people owning everything, and you'll own nothing and be happy. That ain't funny. That ain't funny. I mean, I think about, I can't say my children because they're grown adults, but I can because they're still working. They're still young. But I think about like the grandchildren, your grandchildren, these new babies that are coming. I saw a cute baby yesterday. I love them babies. They're so cute. What kind of world, what kind of technology, what kind of opportunities, what will be? When I grew up, and most of the people watching me, when you grew up, you saw similar things to your folks, but you call that old-timey. They may have churned their own butter, and, they had some horses, and I don't think they were back in the horse and buggy day. They had cars. But when you grew up, you didn't see all this fancy iPhones and technology and microwaves. None of that existed when I grew up. None of it. All of us kids that went to high school, we had bicycles, 10 speeds. We called it a 10-speed. We didn't have mountain bikes. We didn't have beepers, cell phones, microwaves, computers, pagers. We didn't even have, we might have had some cable. We didn't have smart TVs. They were all tube. And so our parents and us went for years, decades of no change to speak of. Cars didn't advance much. They still had crank windows and push buttons and no digital readouts. None of this. We had the same cars. Little different things came out. And all of a sudden, it blew up. All of a sudden, technology just changed the world. And now, we can remember in our own lifetime now several stages, and you only have to go back. Now we've got this pandemic thing that we look back at, and this whole previous prices that we talk about, and now we've got this. Everything's this much money. That's the major thing that we see. We've seen the iPhone thing every 6 months, every year. Android phones, computers, laptops, able to do anything and everything. Cars, they went from 20 grand, you could buy a nice car. I paid 20 grand for my Hyundais, 22 grand. I leased them. And they were well equipped, beautiful little cars. Now the average car is $48,000. And we went from regular houses to smart homes. We went from a $150,000 house, a $80,000 house, a $250,000 house with a lot of house, to the average price is $500,000. And, all the rest that we've seen change. Okay, I went to the 80s. I was in the 80s. I was married. I was in the car business. We had the K car. Things were basic. There was disco. 90s came, kind of the same. And then the 2000s came. We had, oh God, the world's going to end. The toilets aren't going to flush. The lift stations aren't going to work. Remember Y2K, the world was going to end. Everybody was holding up, getting barrels of flour and beans, and oh my gosh, we believed everything. And here we are only a couple of decades later, 25 years almost, from 2000. And almost every young person today that's over, that's no younger than, the last 15, 20 years, doesn't remember any of that stuff. Nothing. They've only known to get a phone as soon as they could know how to push the buttons. Kids today, the grandchildren know how to use a cell phone better than most 70-year-olds, 60-year-olds do. All these game things came out, these video games, and kids stopped playing outside. They were inside. They were watching all this crap. The movies, the Hollywoods changed everything. They took everything out of our schools and this world did change. What we used to hear about when we were growing up, oh, they're trying to pull that out. They're trying to change us. It'll never happen, for a long. That's way off in the future. Look how long it took. No time. We don't even remember yesterday. Stuff happened so fast, we don't even remember what wars happened. We've had so many of those. And now the bickering and the disparaging that goes on and the bullying in social media with each other, us, and with the candidates, and the vile stuff we see on TV, the housewives. Look at the world we're in. You tell me this is not evil. You tell me that this new technology, while it's presented a lot of things and going to space and all this stuff, does present. You got satellites, you got all these channels, you got all this stuff, these smart refrigerators with reflections in them. They got all kinds of good stuff from technology, but look what it has also done. Look how people are naturally, using it for the wrong things. And now it's all consumed about money. People that, they used to be, you heard about a millionaire, remember? He's a millionaire. What? He's a millionaire? Now, that doesn't even buy a house. You buy a house, you're broke. You don't have any money. There's billionaires. Now billionaires are being replaced with trillionaires. I mean, we got a guy that's got $250 billion. And lots of them that are billionaires. Millionaires don't mean anything. I mean, these actors, all these actors, every one of them got 10 to 300 million. Every one of them. And that's a lot of money. Don't get me wrong. That's a lot of money. But you got billionaires growing on trees. And why? How come they're... Because they say it takes money to make money and all that, and they put it in the stock market, and they've grown it up and blown it out. And a lot of this money they've made, they didn't earn it. They didn't do anything. They didn't open factories and build widgets. They just put it in the bank in the stock market or something, and boom. I had some money one time years ago. I had a mutual fund. And then in 2008, when the crash came, I took it out. I could have left it in, and then today, it would be worth this much more. But at the time, I needed it. And I didn't lose anything. I got all my money that I actually saved. And then this money that they said it was worth before it crashed in '08 was pretty impressive on paper. I got these papers every quarter. Hey, look, you put in this, it's worth this. Look at that. On paper. And then something happened, and all of a sudden, hey, let me get my money right away. And yeah, it came back. It took a long time. It came back. Houses went down. They came back. Look at them now. But, I didn't have the time, and I wasn't in the position. I needed what I needed, as many others did. Some had their house foreclosed on, filed BK, whatever. It's like this. It's cyclical. Cycles. So here we are, 2024, approaching the November election, and another person going to be at the helm. Definitely going to be a different person, because Biden's not going to be there. It's going to be either Harris or Trump. And he wasn't there for the last 4 years. He has been there before. And what are their values? What are your values? We're going to be asking people today. We're going to get out there and crush it.